all an allegory for nature. Buddha is the sun. Jesus is the sun. You look at his root name. I mean, this is something that should have like sent shockwaves through the modern world. But going back to what you said, you can tell people the truth and they're not smart enough or aware enough to understand it. The old name of Jesus, the root of Jesus, is the old monogram of Bacchus, the sun, which would be in Greek iota eta sigma, which is IHS, but keeping in mind that H and E in Greek is interchangeable, which would be IES. The root IE, Yod He, Greek, in Hebrew, Yod He, Vav He, that's Yova, that's Jehovah, who you call Jehovah. That's how you could transliterate it, because the Yod could be a Y or an I. It could, the A could be, the He could be an E or an H. The Vav could be a W, V, or U. The second He, obviously an E or an H, right? So you have YH, the WH, Yahweh. That's all mispronounced. Every culture has their own way of saying it, but it's Yova, and it is, if you transliterate it the way it's supposed to be, it's IEUE, Jew. That's where Jew comes from, that root IE, which in Latin is IO, Yo, Yosef, Joseph, Joseph, Joe, the sun increasing. What is one of Jupiter's moons? Io, Io, Yo, Joe. That's what that, going back to what I was saying, the first word for the sun was the O, right? The one. Mm-hmm. And you have to differentiate, they created the hash mark. So you have the, it would look like, I guess, this way. I'm trying to do it for your audience. That becomes the A, Yah, right? So that iota, eta, or that Yod He in Hebrew becomes what people will sometimes write as J-A-H. Keep in mind, because you're looking at I-H, because it could be I-E or I-H, or Y-H, Yah, and Hebrew doesn't do the vowels. So you have to know how to say words and differentiate, because that old language worked that certain way, where you need to know what it means as a cultural norm. The letters are just symbols. And so when you look at this, going back to Bacchus, I'm saying this on Crow, and it should have caused shockwaves throughout the world, and it doesn't, because people can't access it. And this is why they have the mystery schools to begin with. Totally. I just showed you Jesus, the Son, Bacchus. Problem with it in Greek is it also ends in a Latin termination, US.
Right. You talk about this in your
book.
So
they translated it in Greek. They wrote it in Latin, translated it in Greek, transliterated it in Greek to make it appear older than it was. Well, the same thing can be said about the word Christian. I'm gonna expose this it's in my book 4, so I'm not gonna say it, but it's got the same problem as Bacchus, a Greek, a word that was allegedly created by Greeks that has a Latin termination. Funny how that works, huh? And then if you look at IHS or IES, whatever that comes from, the older monogram that came from would be YES, or Upsilon Eta Sigma, on the temple with the serpent to the sun. That is Bacchus, right? That YHS is significant because in that position, it acts as, or Upsilon Eta Sigma, it acts as an HU. So what you end up having is HUES, hues, color, human. Well, why is that significant? Because HU, that YEHS or YES, that's why we say yes in affirmation. Yes, sir. Sir, go look this up. Shin, resh in Hebrew, right? SRR, that's Lord. Sir, that's the capital Phoenicia, TYR. In that, it's pronounced sir, right? Or in Hebrew, that letter is pronounced, it's spelled TSUR, right? Yep. Sir, Lord, but it means rock, literally, because the Lord is the rock. Peter, Petra, the rock, petrified, get it? Pater, the father, the rock, the Lord of the household, the fathers, the pateres, the priests of Apollo. You see where I'm going with this? So going back to, this is important for Bacchus, and I'm just going to wrap it up because I know this is so complex. It's all going to be in my 4th book. It's in my previous book, but it's going to go really deep in my 4th book. Upsilon Eta Sigma, HUES. Well, if you look up the Greek word, eudor, HUDOR. Well, guess what? That upsilon acts like a U in addition to a Y. They're interchangeable. So that then becomes high door. Now, if you just switch up the O and the R, you get hydro, hydroplaning, hydroponics, hydroxy. These all hydra, you all get words named after water. And that's why if you look up Bach in German, B-A-C-H, you will get a stream, a rivulet.
Right.
Water. Because these gods are named after water, because water gives life. So it's named after life, which is given to us by the sun. So life is named after the sun, which is the mediator between us and our creator, whatever our creator is. And so the sun is named after God. And so that's how all the names of all these gods are structured. And you can prove it in multiple different languages. But in order to figure this stuff out, you need to know philology. But it's not just philology and etymology. You need, by understanding which letters and shit interchange in different languages, matter, because these priests are masters of this shit. Right. That's how they create these systems. They know the languages. They speak a bunch of different things. They know how they can disguise something in another language, knowing that the masses won't understand it. Yep. Then they can repackage and rebrand any lie they want.